that's when lunch ended and everyone had to go back to class. He's like, "Oh well, meet me after sixth period, and we're gonna like fight,
What do you think you're gonna do?
learn how to fight."
Hello everyone. Today I'm going to talk about a cartoon short called Welcome to My Life. I've been inspired to make this video because of a video on YouTube talking about it by a YouTuber named Steve Reviews. Basically, in the video, he talked about why we need more shows like this. That's literally the title of the video. He also talked about the positives of the show like this and other reasons why Cartoon Network should have given it at least a mini-series. If you want to watch this video, then you can click or tap the thing above the screen right now. It's right there. And it will take you straight to the video. Or if not, it will be in the description. I don't know, for some reason maybe you're lazy to click on it right now. But before that, please just watch my video first and then afterwards you can watch that one because I feel like we're gonna have the same opinions in something, I don't know. So, today I also wanted to talk about it and explain why it's such an important cartoon, especially in our time. Welcome to My Life is a cartoon that is centered around a main protagonist who is a monster, albeit a very cute monster, named Douglas, or as his friends like to call him, T-Cash. T-Cash is just a nickname that he made up for himself, and it's also because his middle name is Takeshi. I guess he likes hip-hop or something. It follows his life as a monster that's trying to fit into a society where the vast majority are humans. Basically, it's our world, but with monsters like them. So, that simply means that he stands out because of his physical appearance. Although it is briefly mentioned that there are other monsters like them living in their world. And according to his dad, monsters in their present time are more widely accepted compared to his times. What I like about this cartoon is that it doesn't follow the formula of a usual cartoon that usually has over-the-top action scenes or over-the-top animation. It is hard to find cartoons like that nowadays because cartoons in Cartoon Network or even Nickelodeon usually has to do something about powers and how to defeat a certain enemy. There isn't anything wrong with it, it's just that cartoons like this have been forgotten, because cartoons nowadays tend to be unrealistic in the sense of having magical powers and situations where you can't really find yourself into. That just means they're flat out unrealistic. But the cartoon story seems to actually just focus on the protagonist's daily life. And so far, it hasn't shown any sign of it becoming a cartoon that's similar to regular show or even The Amazing World of Gumball, where it starts off normally, but at the climax there always has to be some sort of sci-fi action. The cartoon also tackles on social issues that not a lot of cartoons talk about. The main issue that was focused in this cartoon was about the discrimination of monsters. They are treated differently just because they look different. Although instead of having a sympathetic character for a cartoon that talks about the said issue, the creators decided to make the protagonist a likable character not only for the viewers, but also for the people in the cartoon itself. Let me put it this way, Dogs' life in the cartoon is similar to a human's life, which is really accurate and relatable, even though none of the people watching the cartoon is a monster. I mean, I like to think we're not monsters, but come to think of it, we actually are. I guess what the show is trying to do is that they're trying to tell people that no matter how different someone seems to be physically, it doesn't necessarily mean that they live a different life, which is a nice and fresh take on someone who quote unquote doesn't fit in. Because shows that have characters similar to Douglas are usually portrayed as someone who has to fight the odds of life simply because they look different. Now, there is some truth to it, definitely, especially with the whole Black Lives Matter movement where black people tend to be treated differently just because of the color of their skin. But what we usually see in real life, minus all of the discrimination, with all of the Black Lives Matter movements, without all the issues that we are experiencing right now, is that people who look physically different tend to just live a normal life, just like you and me. Of course, unless they have mental issues that affect their physical abilities and in return affect how they live. But still, it doesn't completely eliminate them from having a completely quote-unquote normal life. Most of the scenes in the cartoon show that monsters like Douglas has been socially accepted by the society, although there were still a few occurrences where they showed that there is still some sort of discrimination towards monsters like him. Like in this particular scene where this guy decided to sit next to Douglas, preventing his friend to sit next to him for an unknown reason. Now, that unknown reason might be that he's trying to keep his friend safe from Douglas, even though Douglas isn't really doing anything suspicious or isn't really proposing any type of danger. But since he is a monster, he is looked at as an intimidating figure or someone who could possibly hurt someone badly. The main conflict of the show happens when Douglas is eating with his friends during lunch, where he saw a guy who has a large build pass them by and says,
Whoa, that guy is like totally like the human version of me.
What's so funny? What are you laughing at?
I thought today was going pretty good, but I have to go and fight this guy now.
This entire scene was put in the show for the purpose of raising a question in everyone's mind, or more specifically children's minds, on what's wrong with looking like someone like Douglas. In fact, the same question was verbally said in the climax of the cartoon, where the guy that challenged Douglas to a fight was confronted by Douglas's friends, who also turned out to be acquainted with the same guy.
I don't see him. Oh wait, there he is. He's right over there behind that tree.
That's who you're fighting?
You know that guy?
He goes to my church.
What?
Hold up. Ian, why are you fighting T-Cash?
I gotta fight him, bro.
Why?
He's trying to say stuff about me. Trying to say I look like him. I don't know who that guy is.
It's T-Cash, man.
Yeah, but I don't like him trying to say stuff about me. That I'm like a version of him or something.
What's wrong with being like him?
It was done in a subtle manner, yet it was still somehow impactful. It showed that violence usually and shouldn't be the first solution or first possible solution to any type of conflict. And that's what really made the show extra special. In the world of regular show and the amazing world of Gumball, every conflict that they have in each episode usually gets resolved through violence and maybe a little bit of understanding. Welcome to My Life purely solved the issue/conflict simply by communicating, and that they didn't even have to resolve into any kind of violence. Which is, sure, anticlimactic, but if you think about it, it's more powerful. I also would like to mention that if you haven't watched the cartoon yet, then maybe your assumption of the kid who challenged Douglas was that he would be a stereotypical bully in every cartoon show. But since the cartoon was written in a way that interprets human life a bit more accurately compared to others, they made the kid look like a bully to establish the idea of him being one to viewers, just so that they can turn that assumption into something entirely different. It was another subtle line where Douglas's friend said that the kid actually attends his church, and later on the kid seemed to understand that the situation he is at with Douglas seems quite unnecessary and just decides to resolve it without any kind of violence. In fact, before the confrontation, you can even see him hiding from Douglas, which indicated that he doesn't really want to fight him. Which you don't see a lot in cartoons, because bullies in cartoons are usually the ones who look for the people that they are trying to bully. And bullies in cartoons like the Fairly OddParents or even The Simpsons tend to be characters who are dumb and are always up to something bad. So to have this kind of role reversal further gives the viewer an understanding on making the right assumptions about a certain stereotype, and that the bully quote-unquote stereotype that we see in shows are outdated and unrealistic. Sure, bullying is still pretty much out there, but the show clearly states that just because a person could look like a bully doesn't necessarily mean that they actually are one. So yeah, just don't assume too quickly based on how a person looks, which is, well, the whole message of the cartoon. Cartoons like these are very important, especially in our time, because discrimination has once again become a huge issue in our society with the mistreatment of people of color. It is important for the future generation to get exposed to things like these, so that in the future, or the near future, there could potentially be a positive shift of certain opinions when it comes on how to rightfully treat a person. But yes, that is it guys. If you want to watch the cartoon itself, it'll be there again at the top of your screen, or in the description, whichever you like. You can choose to click on whatever. And yeah, go watch it. It's like 9 minutes long only. It doesn't take a lot of your time, and even if you think it does, it is actually worth your time watching it because it's really good. And I suggest that you be very observant of the emotions or facial expressions that you see in the episode, because I think in that way you will learn to appreciate it a bit more. Because if you really just look at it as a viewer not really caring too much about the details, it could come off as boring because of how laid back the cartoon is. But yeah, that's really it. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.